What's up, guys? Austin Driven Northwest back here with the Evo 10 for the part 2 of the fuel system install. So today we are doing the rail, getting rid of the OEM rail and replacing it with the OEM replacement radium rail. So we already did the fuel pump. I'll link that video at the end if you guys haven't seen it yet. So click on that. Make sure to watch that one first if you need a how-to on how to install that. But here is the radium rail. This is the OEM configuration, and I bought this gauge, so you can see what your fuel pressure is at. So that's pretty cool. And then it comes with an AN line, bread and line, and all the hardware included that you need to install this. And so first thing you got to do is get that upper intercooler pipe out of the way. So just remove that, and then just start from there. And I'll start the camera as soon as I start doing. Okay, first things first. So you're going to want to follow this hard line right here, and follow all the way back to the very back, and it's going to lead to like this cover thing. And what you're going to do is you're just going to pull up on the bottom right here, pull up on the bottom, pull it like that, and then it's going to show you this red tab. And what you're going to do is you're going to like get a pick or a flathead and pop that red tab out, and that will release you so you can move the hose out of the way and start doing the rest of the install. But there might be fuel in it. If you did want to get the fuel out, you have to pull a fuse and just let your car die, and then all the fuel should be out of the system, and then right there you'll have no problem with fuel spraying everywhere. But since I did the fuel pump and I haven't started my car up yet, there's still no fuel in the system. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and do it without even relieving the pressure, because I know it's already gone. So that's what you got to do that, and then after that we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now that you have that disconnected, you're going to follow the hose back up here, and then right here there's a little red tab. You're going to also pop that one out, and then you'll have this line disconnected, and there may be some fuel, so just be careful. Alrighty, so after you disconnect the hardline thing connector from right here, you just pull it off, and then right here it has like an upgraded zip tie, and I'm just going to cut that because we're not going to reuse this hose, and I have more zip ties if I need it later. But yeah,
chrome zip ties. Should buy chrome zip ties.
Harbor Freight, man.
Makes your car go faster.
Chrome zip ties. That's what this whole engine bay is getting.
Chrome in
some
in
chrome.
The car, dude.
But alright, so yeah, I'm just going to probably snip that or see if I can get it off, and then after that we'll move on to the next step. Alrighty, so moving on to this hose right here that connects to your pressure regulator. You're just going to get some needle noses, take that off, and then take off the one right there. And then after you do that, just disconnect those, and then undo this little vacuum hose from your pressure regulator and down to your intake manifold. Alright, so after you get this hose disconnected out of the way, you're going to undo all these, and these are 10mm bolts on top. And so you're just going to undo all these. I think there is 4 of them, if I'm right. 4, maybe 5. But yeah, so just disconnect those, and then you'll have this hard line out of the way so we can pull the rail up with the injectors. So I'm going to do that right now.
Can we stop it?
No, man. Actually. Okay, so I'm going to point out real quick where all these are at. So, here are all the bolts you're going to have to take off with your 10mm. This one right here. That one back there. And then this one right here. And then these two right up front. And then you'll have that big hard line out of the way and disconnected so you can pull the rail. Alright guys, so you're just going to unplug your harnesses for your injectors. I have 1100 cc's, so they're going to look a lot different than your guys's. But yeah, so just undo that and get all this heap and wiring out of the way. And then we're starting to pull out the injectors now. So, alright guys, so huge important step for this is we're going to remove these 2 bolts right here. And these hold in your spacers to space the fuel rail out. Do not lose these black spacers, because if you do, you will not be able to drive your car, and you'll have to order new spacers, which is a pain. And these bolts are 12mm. So I emphasize again, do not lose these black spacers. Dude, I put a lot of weight in that one. That thing was in there.
That was a lot of force, man.
So,
are you force sensitive, dude?
So yeah, I repeat, do not lose them. We're gonna do that right now, though. So if we lose it, you guys get to see it on camera.
Oh boy!
Don't lose it.
Okay. These are long bolts too.
Ooh.
Okay, so here's that.
Look at that length. Ooh.
Get that line out of the way. And I also stuffed some blue rags down here. So just in case if I do drop them, they don't fall in the abyss of your engine bay, which you don't want to do. And I'm just going to lift up on the rail real quick and see if I can pop out these injectors. Oh, there goes one. And right here is the black spacer, which I almost just dropped. But I put that rag there, so I saved it. All right, I recommend doing that big time. And here's the other one right here. This is what they look like. Do not lose these. There's two of them. So yeah, make sure you don't do that.
Right down there.
Yeah. All right, and I'm pulling out the rest of the rail.
Oh boy!
Alrighty. Now we're having some great times. If I can get this.
PG.
Yep.
Clean it up.
Oh. And we're still caught. And boom. We're out. Wow. And there's going to be still some fuel in your rail. You can pull out an injector if you want to get it out, or you can just let it drip out right through here. But yeah, so just don't be alarmed.
There's some big boys.
Oh, there. It's a little dirty though.
Oh, there's the gas.
Yep, there it goes.
Right on your paint. Paint's gonna melt.
That's all right. We'll wipe it off.
I'll wipe you off.
Make sure you might want to move that. I have gas in my hands.
Luckily for me, it's all cheap Chevy plastic, so it's very easy, very light.
Wow.
Wow, that looks really clean. Wow. Do you use gasoline as your soap?
That really stained it bad.
Am I the only one? Did it? Did it really?
I think it kind of did. We're just gonna add them Adam's polish. Hit them up. They got some.
Sponsor.
They got some good cleaning stuff, and voila, it takes out fuel stains.
Beautiful.
Adam's polish. Alright. Alrighty, so for these 1100s, there's gonna be like these little retaining clips that hold your injector on. Don't try to like bend them or mess them up, because these do hold your injectors in place. But you just use 2 fingers, pull, and you launch it across your garage. But yeah, here they are right there.
Let's get another shot of that.
Do it again.
There you go, another one off, and here's your last one, and there you go. Now those retaining clips are out, and now you can pull out your injectors. Be careful not to ruin the O-ring, because this is what seals your injector, and fuel leaks are not fun. So, got it.
Yeah, it looks good. Maybe pull it back a little bit.
How's that?
That's perfect.
2. Three.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just ate some fuel.
Yum.
Okay, so right there's all 4 of them, and this is what your rail looks like, man. Now, for this configuration, we have to take off the OEM fuel pressure regulator. So these are also 8mm bolts, so just undo that and swap that over to your new Radium fuel rail. So in the instructions, it has you put some Teflon tape around this fitting. I know they're tapered threads and you don't have to, but I'm just following the directions on this one. So yeah, I just do like 2 or 3 passes. Make sure it's on there. Alright, so you're supposed to do 1.5 to 3 turns after you get it hand tight. I probably got it about 2. Actually, no, probably 1.5 because it gets pretty hard to Teflon tape there. But that's what it was instruction-wise. It's tapered thread, so it can go like, I don't know, you guys can do what you want, but that's what I did. But yeah, so now it's time to throw on the injectors. I'm going to clean the O-rings up here and then add a little bit of grease so they go in easy. And then clean up these ones too. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Alright guys, so I went ahead, I bought the optional pressure gauge. So I went and installed that. In the kit, if you didn't buy that, they give you a little block off port. But it's kind of a cool touch, so I might as well just do it. Now what we're going to do here is they give you these little hex head screws. And you just put in your hard line right in there. And you just put the screws through. And tighten her up. And you have that. And then you connect that hard line hose right over here to the rubber hose. Right there. And then you just put the hose clamp on it, and you're good for the hard line. And then we're going to install the injectors and start plugging everything back in. So, alright, so what I recommend doing is putting Vaseline or some sort of grease around here so you don't end up cracking or breaking your O-ring when you put it back in your injector. But you want to have the orientation where the clip is in the back right here, so facing directly like that. So go straight up like that. So clip is behind the fuel rail and closer to your motor. So let's get the first one in there. There's all your injectors now inside the fuel rail. Cool. And that's how it fits in there. Fits just like this in the engine bay. And here's your gauge, fuel pressure regulator, injectors, and here's the plug and play harnesses. So yeah, just like that.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, so we're just connecting all the injectors back up. So we got the fuel rail all back in. We just used the screws, the hex head screws that they gave us to put it back in with the spacers in between them. Don't drop the spacers, I emphasize that a lot. And then now we just got to connect the fuel pressure regulator hose back onto here, zip tie it, and install it back on this little piece on the intake manifold, and zip tie that. And then I really need to do a wire tuck, but whatever, it's just wires. And then reconnect all the hose. But right here, this is what, it's a little fitting that goes from your braided line that they gave you, and you just press it on this fitting way back here in the engine bay. I'll show you. This fitting right here, I don't know if you can see it right there. That one you just press down on this thing super hard until it snaps, and then right there it's in place and ready for an AN screw to be put on. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll show you guys what it looks like after it's done. Yeah.
There it is, dude. Josh.
Oh jeez, man. Alright, so what we're doing here is I'm going to zip tie this fuel pressure regulator hose to the intake manifold under right here. Definitely do that if you even don't have one zip tied, because these tend to blow off and then people wonder why their car's all messed up. So zip tie that up and you'll be set, and then I'll throw on the intercooler piping and we'll start the car up and see how bad it is. Guys, so just got everything hooked back up in here. We're gonna do our first startup. I haven't even started since I did the fuel pump, so we're gonna see how many fuel leaks I have, if I have any, hopefully not. And
Absolutely.
Alright, so that was the Radium stock setup install. Didn't really get too much footage because it's kind of hard to film while you're doing this stuff, but we got enough. And yeah, so I'll leave a description below where to find that rail. Super simple, straightforward install. If you need any help, just hit me up in the comments, let me know. And yeah, so alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Perfect.
With that.